Second and Charles. Let's take a look, see what we got in here. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, everybody out there, YouTube land. I'm Vader Moz, and I'm coming to you with another video. Today we're going to go over some books. I actually went book hunting this weekend, and I haven't really picked up any books in a while because there's a lot that I find, but it's usually stuff I already have, so I don't need extras of it. So, with that in mind, let's take a look at what we found today. Let's go take a look at the books real quick. Of course, we can get distracted. Still need this one. I haven't picked it up yet. So, we tend to check out the books. I always look at the Stephen King books here. Let's see if I'm in the right area. Stephen King books. I found a couple of good books in here before. What is this? Different Seasons. $6.50. I got 2 copies of this in hardback. This is not a book club edition. It's got a price on it. Need the copyright page. This is a second printing, or excuse me, third printing. Let's take a look at the other one. I got 2 copies up here. How many times I've looked for this book? Again, $6.50 for this one. This is a book club edition. It doesn't have a price up there, and it's written in. And as you see, there's no printing down here. So, book club edition, and then a third printing. Let's see, we got The Dead Zone as well. Another one of his older books. They want $9.75 for that beat up thing. Not a hard to find book. Go to a thrift store and get a lot of them. This one here is a jacket cover. 4 Past Midnight is a collection of stories. Got some paperbacks here. Got a hardback of The Outsider. Elevation, we got a saltback at the stand. Got a lot of these guys here. Green Mile. So that's what we got for Stephen King. Now there's one other author I look for. I never find it here. We'll take a look. Today could be the day. Over in the sci-fi fantasy section now. Let's go to S. Probably won't find it here again. Salvatore, so alphabetically be after that. And I don't see any Brandon Sanderson. Be right after Salvatore here. If it was in alphabetical order. I never have Brandon Sanderson in here. I need a first edition of Way of Kings. Kitties, we're going to check out half-price books. This one's here in Decatur, Georgia. And they have more books than anything else, but they do have a few toys, CDs, DVDs, records, comic books, cool stuff. Let's check it out. So here we got some Cujo, Carrie, Salem's Lot, Dance Macabre, Misery. The Dance Macabre is actually a first print, first edition, but the Salem's Lot is book club edition. So is Carrie. The Stand is a book club edition. Let me take a look over here. Here's some of the Funko Pops. I like to collect these sometimes. Nothing though. Nothing that I want today. I already have the Illidan. Ooh, Bernie Sanders, but they probably have that for too much money. Look at their Stephen King selection. So Stephen Key. Oh, Dark Tower. They're all the same book. Yep. Got some talismans down there. Could be First Edition. Tommy knockers. Price has been clipped. It's got an inscription on it. This one's got $18.95 and somebody inscribed their information and phone number in there. Looks promising. First edition talisman. What has been written in? I already have it. Joe Hill books. It took them a while to put that in the horror section. They kept putting it in fiction. What is this? Clive Barker. I don't think I've ever seen this out. Interesting. I might pick that up. And the other author I like to look for when I'm here. Let's see. There's more Joe Hill. See, it's over here with science fiction as well. Science fiction, I'm looking for Sanderson. Brandon Sanderson. I never find Sanderson in these stores. I always get tons of Salvatore. Never any Sanderson. There's a reason for that. People don't let go of their Sanderson books. Book Nook in Decatur, Georgia. Got books, toys, comics, all kinds of stuff. Let's check it out. If you Maniacs Crow there, not a bad price. Species. Cool Gene Simmons Kiss figure. Got some of the 112s up here. See if they have Sanderson today. Tad Williams, so Stephen. I never see Sanderson in here. Never see Sanderson anywhere. Let's see. Brandon Sanderson, Mistborn. Wow. It's not the series I was looking for, but I'll probably take it. Yeah, I'm gonna take that. First printing of Mistborn. Sweet. Classic Alien vs. Predator set. I actually have that set. Of course, I didn't leave in the box and take care of it. So let's take a look at the Stephen King books. That's what they have in here. That Skeleton Crew is a first edition. It's not bad priced. Already got one though, so I don't need one. Got a lot of paperbacks down here. I didn't even look for Clive Barker yet, did I? Bachman, just a typical Blaze. Not seeing Barker at all. Oops. Cool stuff though, cool stuff. We did find a Brandon Sanderson book though, so that's good. A first edition. Still haven't been able to replace my first edition of the Vampire Lestat that I lent out years ago, back in college. It's sad. Alright, so the first story we got was over at Half Price Books, and it was definitely something I was interested in. Obviously, for the price, you couldn't beat it. And I don't have a lot of his works yet. I have some, but a lot of the really good stuff that I've been wanting is, of course, way out of my price range. However, we did find something that fit into that bill. We found a little novella of Clive Barker's The Hellbound Heart. This is the novella that started it all. This is what the movie Hellraiser was based off of. This was actually published in the Books of Blood initially. So that is, of course, very hard to find in my stores. But we did find the actual story, which I didn't have yet. So that's pretty cool. I'm really excited about that. I can't wait to get into this and read it. It's not too long. As far as softbacks go, let's see, it's published by Harper, and let's see if it's got a publication run here. This is the 9th printing of this book, so not too awesome as far as printing wise and like real rarity, although I never see this book around, and it was $3. You know, $3 and change. So you really can't complain about $3 and change for a cool little book like this. So the next book we found, also in Half Price Books, was another Clive Barker book. It was something else that I didn't have. I already have the book in paperback, but I didn't have a hardback, much less a first printing of a hardback. So we went ahead and picked it up for $6. We found the Clive Barker's Damnation Game. So this is really cool. One of the things you want to check for when you're checking for any first editions and stuff, you want to make sure, of course, that there's a price up here in the dust jacket. If there's not a price there, then you're most likely looking at a book club edition. And then, of course, you go to the copyright page, and you see these string of numbers here. I don't know how well it's focusing. See the string of numbers here. If it starts with, if it has a 1 in there, then that means that it's a first printing. If it doesn't, then whatever number it starts with, whatever the lowest number is, that's the printing number of the book. So, first printing of the Damnation Game, really happy to have that. So we got those 2 books there. Then we went on to Book Nook, and Book Nook paid off in actually something else entirely. It was still a book, but it wasn't in the horror genre. It's a book by an author. I've been looking for his books in first edition hardbacks for a little while now. I've gotten a couple of them. I'm still looking out for one in particular, but I have no luck finding that book anywhere at a reasonable price at a thrift store and or a used bookstore. The only times I see it is online, and they want $100 and change for it. But we did find this book for $6. We get a first printing, first edition of Brandon Sanderson's Mistborn. Now, if you're not familiar with Brandon Sanderson, he's a fantasy writer. He was tasked to complete Robert Jordan's Wheel of Time series when he passed away. And he did a phenomenal job there. And to be honest, not to diss Robert Jordan and what he created, but when Brandon Sanderson picks up the series and continues writing, I felt much more involved in the story. Whereas Jordan's writing, great as it was, I felt like a passenger. And then when Sanderson took over, I felt like I was actually involved in the story, which is a great feat in my opinion. So this is a first printing, first edition. I found it for $6. Again, we have our price up here in the corner. I can put my finger over by it. So that's a good deal. And then we have the printing number. The dust jacket's a little loose. I may try to fix that up a little bit. But in this case, this one starts with 0 on the printing number. I don't know if it's going to come out. Autofocus likes to be temperamental. So the 0, and it also has a 1. So what it looks like is actually these numbers run backwards, which, they can vary from publisher to publisher. And this is a first printing, which is great. Let's fix this. There's a crease on this page here. I never find Brandon Sanderson books in the bookstore, though. Unless they're new paperbacks or whatever at Barnes & Noble, I never find an actual Brandon Sanderson book. So that's my pickups. That's my pickups for this weekend as far as books go. I started out looking for other things, but I ran across just so many books I needed. So this is great. While I got you here, though, I do want to go over a book in particular because it has a movie coming out this weekend, coming up here at the beginning of April. We got a movie coming out for it, and there's going to be a lot of people trying to find this book now. In fact, on eBay, the prices for it have skyrocketed, and now it's like, fetching $200 for a really nice copy. But there's some things to know when you're looking for this particular book. Alright, so that book is Stephen King's Pet Sematary. People are looking for this in first edition. I found mine in a thrift store about a couple years ago. I have multiple copies of this book, but I don't know if they're all first editions. This is my first edition. One of which I had when I was a kid. So we have it covered, though. First edition Pet Sematary. Let's scoot these out of the way. And we may need to zoom in on the camera, so I'll take some stills of this too. Alright, so this book here was published by Doubleday. Doubleday did a couple of different things to help discern a first edition, or, that you can use to identify a first edition. One of which, of course, is the dust jacket cover. And the price on there of $15.95. That should be $15.95. Make sure, it could have a price, but if it's not $15.95, it's a later printing. So $15.95 for a first edition. And on the Doubleday books, you'll notice that it doesn't have the print line. It doesn't have the print line. Now, this isn't going to be the best book to show you this with because it's really tight in there. But the way you tell Doubleday books, for Stephen King specifically, is that they have gutter codes on the last page of the book. Now, when I say the last page, and you're asking what's a gutter code, but we're going to get into that. When I say the last page, I don't mean like the blank pages at the very end. I'm referring to the last page of the story. So we have an epilogue here, and we may be able to see some of this gutter code. I know it's the right gutter code, but don't know if you'll be able to see it or not in there. Let's see. It's on this page, and it's all the way in there. It's a Y. I think 38 is the gutter code. You're not going to see it. I apologize. I'll try to get a picture of it, but I can't promise anything. So the gutter code on here is a Y38, which is the first printing. I'm not exactly sure how that breaks down for the people that publish it and what that means. I know the letter is the year. The 38, I think, is the week. But don't quote me on that because I'm not entirely certain. I know Y38 is the one that you need to find because that is written on the internets. I'll get into more of that in a second. The other thing is with the first printing, you haven't stopped there. You're not done there. With the first printing of Pet Sematary, it had a misprint on the dust jacket. Now, apparently this was quickly resolved, So there are still first printings out there that have a corrected dust jacket. This one is the original misprinted dust jacket. On the back of the dust jacket, in this last paragraph here, it states Stephen King lives in Bangor, Maine, with his wife Tabitha, author of the well-received fantasy novel Small World, and in 1982 of Caretakers and their 3 children. The misprint is that Caretakers did not come out until 1983. So on the reprinted covers, it will have the 1983. You may still have a first printing, first edition of the book, but they did catch this pretty quick. So, just something else of note. Now, when I'm out looking for first edition books, I don't resell them by any means, but when I'm out looking for first edition books, I use my phone. There's a website called StephenKingCollector.com. And on that site, you'll have all the information for each of his books that were published, including US Limited, UK Limiteds, and first editions. So all of that information can be found on this site, and it's got a link for each book. In fact, is Elevation on here yet? Let's see. As that says newest book, Elevation is already on here, so that's good. And it'll give you the printing information for that. So, good to know. But in any case, as I've noticed that my Stephen King collection video was one of my top videos, and I found some books this week. I thought I'd make a video regarding the books that I picked up this week. And, just what kind of options I have looking around here. Now, I didn't hit any thrift stores. Thrift stores are usually a gold mine. But great finds, great finds. You can find all kinds of books in thrift stores, and they're cheap. I mean, some people I see say that they paid 25 cents for a book. Of course, whenever I go, it seems to be $3 is the going rate for a book, in the thrift store. But anyway, guys, I appreciate all of you for watching this video. If you guys like this video, please leave me a comment. Tell me how you hunt for your books. Do you even collect books? I'd like to know. Is this really outside your wheelhouse, or are you guys digging the fact that I collect more than just Funko Pops, and of course NECA, Mezco, and now 1/6 scale comic books, which I haven't done a video with comic books in a while. But let me know what you guys collect. Let me know if this was informative, if you guys learned something new today. I'd love to know that. Leave a comment down below, and hit the like, share, or subscribe button if you're so inclined. You guys have a good day. Thank you so much for watching.